Good morning. Today we are going to present our project called Sharing Learning, whose authors are Eva Cabral de Oliveira, Dolores Garcia Cortido, and Dolores Pevida Llamazares. During the presentation, we are going to address the objectives of this work, the situation in Europe today, and how to manage the diversity of our students, new ways of teaching, developing competences in order to deal with this diversity, additional advantages, tasks proposed, and conclusions. The main objective of this proposal is to work multiculturalism, having in mind the different backgrounds of our students. All the activities proposed have a common key point: geography. We believe it is important because in the world we live in, multiculturalism is present in our daily lives. As teachers, we need to face this new reality to be able to handle the class in the most appropriate way. Unlike individual or competitive learning, we suggest working through a cooperative methodology, which will help teachers to arrange relevant interactions in class, and the students will be able to use a target language to share experiences and points of view. Working together to accomplish a shared goal, students will take an active role during the learning process as they develop social skills. Lifelong learning is another aspect that is taken into account in this proposal, since it implies personal development and social inclusion. In order to promote interculturalism, students and teachers will work with different tools in a motivating, interacting learning environment, the Web 2.0. Due to migration and mobility of citizens, Europe is facing a new model of society where coexist a variety of cultures and languages, a reality that is also found in our classrooms. During the learning process of a second language, the mother language of our students also plays an important role, since the learner comes to class with a whole background that shouldn't be forgotten or avoided. But how to deal with the diversity of languages and cultures in a classroom and, at the same time, further the plurilingualism in our students? As teachers of a second language, we need to work different aspects, strategies, and tools. Considering that we live in a connected society in which new technologies such as mobile phones, computers, and tablets compete with the blackboard, the Web 2.0 should be taken into account if we want to bring real situations to class. The task-based learning methodology fosters teamwork and a meaningful learning during the process. Managing diversity implies working effective and emotional aspects in class. Our students must play a more active role, using the second language and producing their own speech instead of only receiving information and repeating sentences in a controlled context. The learners should take responsibility for their learning. The teacher also plays a very important part during the process. He or she is the task agent, which means a more interactive teacher that will help the students to relate, communicate, and cooperate to each other, sharing some of the leadership with the students. The advantages of the set of activities proposed in this study are that they could be restructured depending on our students' level, knowledge, and context. In order to develop motivating interactive learning environments, our methodological proposal aims to teach our students to learn and work in a cooperative way, encouraging them to use a target language to share experiences and express opinions. Such interactions will help the students to progress as they develop their self-esteem, which encourages the learning of a new language. In the tasks, contents will be taught as well as abilities, skills, and strategies that will support lifelong learning and develop social, communicative, sociolinguistic, and pragmatic competencies, having in mind the common European framework. The affective and emotional aspects of this proposal enrich the tasks developed, and the students are the ones who play the main role in the learning process, while teachers' role changes from giving information to promoting students' active learning. The task-based learning methodology and the resources used in the set of activities will foster a meaningful learning.
As the CEFR establishes, we want to promote communicative and linguistic competencies at the same time students learn about cultural aspects. All these competencies will be developed through self-study to increase the students' autonomy. Taking into account the situation in which we live, we think it's important to give our tasks a European flavor and bring Europe closer to our students. They will not only work with texts, but also will interact with their classmates. Cultural aspects should not be forgotten. They also play an important role in our proposal. To promote these skills, we chose the task-based learning methodology. This set of activities works for beginners but also for advanced students, allowing an interlevel teamwork. In this way, students will feel more comfortable when speaking, favoring the emergence of spontaneous interactions and their self-esteem. The student is the key element in the activity, and the teacher becomes the task agent. Studying a language is not only knowing its grammar. That's why we don't want to focus on grammar points. Studying a language means knowing how to deal with different types of interactions and cultural aspects. This is the list of activities we propose in this presentation. Our world, a critical look. Another world is possible. A trip around the world. Together in Europe. Discover the city. Let's travel. The story of my journey. Transmedia Storytelling. Each of these titles embrace a set of key competencies, abilities, and skills that will be worked during the activities.
Our world, a critical look. Another world is possible. The key point of this set of activities is to bring political maps and projections to the classroom and the analysis of different types of representations of the planet Earth. At the same time, we will compare some map projections in order to catch the students' attention to the diversity of perspectives shown on a range of maps. After the study of these projections, the students should state their opinion about some of them, comparing and spotting differences. Finally, the learners will work together and design a map by themselves using their imagination. A trip around the world. Activity of 3 tasks in which the students have the opportunity to study or revise, depending on the level, some countries and their capitals using a political map. In order to do that, along the process, they must place on the map the name of the countries given and identify their capitals. Then they should use the vocabulary learned to read a text about the teacher's plans for his or her holidays and correct some mistakes about the countries and their nationalities. Finally, the students should think about places they would like to visit on their holidays and use their internet to look for information about the countries chosen, use a PowerPoint to present their route to the class.
These activities, called Together in Europe, are divided into 2 parts. In the first one, we deal with geographical aspects of Europe. The teacher starts asking some general questions to introduce the topic. Then, students need to work together as they deal with capitals, countries, flags, and how to put them in a map. In this second part, we deal with historical aspects and Europe's popular culture as well. Students have to read 2 texts. In the first one, they have to answer a set of questions in groups, and after that there is a quiz to check what the students have just learned. After that, they have to work in pairs to complete different parts of a sentence. In the next activity, students will work together as they deal with sentences stated by philosophers, writers, and politicians. They work together to express what they understood, thought, or felt. Finally, the teacher presents a text based on the myth of Europe for students to draw a storyline about what they have understood. Discover the City is a set of activities in which students deal with new vocabulary that will allow them to work using maps and directions. At the same time, they work with their classmates and share personal experiences by interviewing them.
Let's travel. A Webquest is a task-based lesson in which most part of the information will be found on the Internet. In this activity, the students will be divided into groups and link what they have learned to the previous activities to plan a trip to a place chosen. The students will need to follow some steps in order to decide. First, the date of the trip, the means of transport they will use to get to the country chosen, and where they're going to stay, hotel, hostel, camping site. Second, what they would like to eat. And third, the places they would like to visit, monuments, museums. Once the information about the trip is selected and classified by the groups, they should design a PowerPoint presentation about their trip that must be displayed to the whole class. In this activity, the students will be able to evaluate their own learning process through a self-evaluation of the task. Each learner should be able to identify their strengths and drawbacks to accomplish the activities and their work in group. The story of my journey, Transmedia Storytelling. This Transmedia Storytelling activity embraces the use of different tools through the different stages of the task. It also allows the students to participate in the class as they listen to their classmates and share a common experience, their journey to the new country.
To sum up, this new proposal promotes learning a foreign language. The student faces real learning situations in which he becomes the key role in the process. This proposal develops and favors spontaneous interactions between students and guarantees the fluidity in communication. It allows the students to know each other and to share their experiences and realities, which favors empathy. It promotes awareness. It encourages teamwork as it brings students together. The students feel free to take decisions and participate in the task. We want to promote this proposal in which the student plays the key role and feels free enough to participate in the class. As teachers, we need to favor interactions and situations in which they can share their experiences with classmates from other countries as they work in groups. With the task we present here, we want to encourage a natural way of learning. In order to do that, we don't want to focus on grammar in this proposal. If you have any questions or you would like more information, please feel free to send us an email or visit viajeintercultural.wordpress.com. Thank you for your attention.